And it's
Okay, sounds
yeah,
good.
it's 2 p.m. Pacific. Yeah, hopefully there's a good turnout. I mean, there is a lot of people that signed up for this event. I think we're like almost at 500. So 10 p.m. in Switzerland. Oh my gosh. Hans, you're committed, okay? You are committed.
Seriously.
You are committed on a Friday at 10 p.m. Love that. I love that. Like, seriously.
Yeah, thank you guys for joining, especially on a Friday. So
Yeah.
very excited here.
Yes. And speaking of which, can you guys type your city and country, state from where you're joining today? Just curious. We got Spain, Marbella. Oh my gosh, Marbella is one of my favorite cities. And we got Netherlands. Guys, you can put the city in the Netherlands, okay? We're good in geography. Just kidding. Canada, India, Slovenia, Morocco, Senegal. Wow, 9 p.m. in Senegal. Okay. Bosnia, Nigeria, 10 p.m. Australia. Okay. Sorry, guys. Australia wins. Manchester, Nashville, Philippines, Ecuador, Bristol, India. Wow. It's amazing.
Yeah, seriously.
Thank you. Thank you so much, by the way, for being here. I mean, you could literally be anywhere right now, and instead you chose to be here. So kudos to you. So the format that we're going to use today, guys, because again, we're expecting a lot of people. So Alex is just going to do the workshop from start to finish, okay? So there will be no interruption. But in the meantime, you guys go ahead and put the questions in the chat, because I will be monitoring the chat. And then once Alex is done with the workshop today, we'll move on to the Q&A. I'll try to do the best job I can in collecting all the questions, trying to group them. I'm sure that many people will have the same question at different time during the presentation. But yeah, is that cool?
On the chat, so I shared a Notion page. On there, guys, if you guys go on there, will be the prompt, and kind of similar to the last workshop if you guys attended. On there will be all the templates and anything else that we create along the way there. Everything today is going to be pretty much like a lot of it's going to be in GHL. So yeah, but I will be including some N8N template later on in there, and the prompt that we're going to be starting with is currently there. So
yes, everything is it's already recording here, so everyone will be able to get the recording, and Alex, you will put it here in the Notion page.
The recording will also be in the Notion page, and it will be on the Retell YouTube channel, and then we'll also put it on Discord and on LinkedIn. It should also be there also.
Okay, so everywhere. Okay. All right, Alex, you want to get going? It's 5 past.
Yeah, let's get going here. I'm going to share my screen here, and I'm going to show you guys what we're going to be building today, which it's going to, hold on, let me actually do my entire screen here.
And guys, can I ask you a quick favor? Sorry, Alex. Can I ask you a quick favor? If you guys could please turn on your cameras. Don't be shy. It's always nice. Otherwise, we just see MLB, you know, whatever. Like, it's just nice to see faces. It's okay wherever you are in the world. You know, that would be awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Sorry, Alex.
Oh, it's all good. So I'm going to show you guys a quick demo. And what we're going to be doing, or what we're simulating, is here I have obviously my contact information, and we have a simple workflow that's essentially creating an outbound call in Retell. And this can be triggered any sort of way, right? So this is going to be for a mortgage. You can trigger this through like a form. Maybe they filled out like a Facebook lead or anything along those lines. Then we can go ahead and trigger this. For the sake of this, and just I'm going to be triggering it using a contact tag just as test, but you can trigger this any way. And basically what this agent's going to do, well, actually, let's just test it out, and you can hear for yourself. So I'm just going to add this tag here real quick. Hopefully you guys can hear. Hello?
Hi, is this Alex?
Yeah, speaking.
Hi, Alex. This is Mia from Retell Mortgage. You recently submitted a form on our website about mortgage options, and I wanted to follow up. Is now a good time to briefly discuss your mortgage needs?
Yeah.
Great. Thanks, Alex. To get started, are you currently looking to buy a new home, or are you considering refinancing your existing mortgage?
No, I'm looking to buy a home in the next 6 months in Orange County.
That's exciting, Alex. Orange County is a beautiful area. Since you're planning to buy within the next 6 months, it sounds like you're getting everything lined up early, which is smart. Can I ask a few quick questions to better understand your situation? For example, do you have a general idea of your credit score range? And are you currently employed or have a stable income source?
Yeah, I've been at my job for like 15 years, and my credit score is like 800, so I should be pretty solid there.
Wow, Alex, an 800 credit score and 15 years at your job. That's fantastic. You're in a really strong position. With that kind of stability and credit, you're likely to qualify for some excellent mortgage options. Since you're looking to buy in the next 6 months, are you already working with a real estate agent, or are you still in the early stages of your search?
I started looking for agents, but nothing yet. I've just been looking on Zillow, so I'm gonna go start like seeing houses. So yeah.
That makes sense. Alex, Zillow is a great place to start getting a feel for the market. Since you're gearing up to start seeing homes, it's a great time to get pre-approved for a mortgage. That way, you'll know exactly what you can afford, and it'll make your offers more competitive when you find the right home. I'd love to connect you with one of our mortgage experts right now. They can walk you through your options
Okay.
and help you get pre-approved.
Let's do it.
Let me get that set up for you. Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. Hello, this is Mia from Retell Mortgage.
Did you forward my call, Luigi? Anyways, I was forwarding it to Luigi's phone number there. But you just kind of heard the whole gist of it here. What we're doing is someone submitted a form. We're then going to go ahead and transfer that to like, a live representative there. And that call, you can change it. Let's actually take a look at the prompt. You'll be able to change the prompt and everything. It doesn't have to be, maybe she was talking a little bit too much. You can always go ahead and change that. But the gist of it is, and what we're trying to learn here is how to create an outbound agent, how to customize it so it knew my name. The name is just one of the things that, and by the way, everybody can see my screen, right? Yes. Okay. Name is going to be one of the things that we can customize, but you can customize more things. So what I hope that out of this, again, you'll be able to know how to create an outbound agent, just using like a webhook in GHL. So again, on this one, we're just simply using a transfer call to transfer to a live agent, but we can also book an appointment. We can do all sorts of, take any sorts of action there. So hopefully that makes sense. Let's get started. I'm going to go to Retell here, and we're going to be creating a new agent. I'm just going to go with a single prompt agent here. And I will be showing you how to create those variables. So that's the thing that I'm going to be showing you guys. And we're going to start from like the very beginning. I'm just going to copy that prompt that I share with you guys here in the Notion document. There's nothing, particularly special here in this prompt. Very simple. Feel free to change it to your liking, but it's just Mia, mortgage specialist from Retell Mortgage. We give it a little bit of personality, so she sounds friendly. The context is important, so I like to give it context. This is where we're going to be passing information about the customer, right? Things as like the name. If you were collecting more information from them, maybe like the city that they're looking to purchase, or maybe you collected their credit score already ahead of time, we can display all of this information on here. And again, I will show you how you can create any dynamic variable here. So we just have a little bit of context, some communication style. Obviously, our goal is to build rapport, confirm that they're looking for a mortgage, and then transfer them over to a senior loan officer there. And then some basic response guidelines. We have some qualification criteria here. And then this is pretty much the meat of it, right? Like what it's going to be doing, which is going to be greeting the user, confirming that it's the right user. We're going to identify ourselves, and then we're just going to ask them questions. You'll notice that earlier she was just kind of like bombarding me with questions, and that's just because I have it all in like one task. just for the sake of this, and I'm actually going to cut this down a little bit. But again, you can change this any way you like. So I'm actually, I'll leave it. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. And this is going to be like super simple, guys. So I got my prompt for the welcome message. Because this is going to be an outbound call, we want to make sure that the user, the user is going to say hello, right? It's the agent shouldn't say anything. So we're going to let the user initiate the call there. And then for functions, we're going to click on function here. Then we're going to click on add. And then we're going to do a transfer call right here. And we're going to leave a name. I'm going to leave the name exactly as it is. And then for the transfer, for the description, I'm just going to say transfer to a senior mortgage loan officer. I'm going to give it a static number here. And let me just pull one up really quick. I'm going to pull up Luigi's number here so that I can give him a call. I'm just going to pop that in there. I'm going to delete these little dashes. And then, so the two types, and if you guys don't know, obviously the cold transfer is just going to transfer them right away. I don't want that for this particular situation. I would like it to make some sort of introduction just so that it sounds a little bit more human. So we're going to say something like, let me copy that, right? So we're going to greet the loan officer, and then we're just going to introduce the user there and hand off the call. So I'm going to leave this as prompt, and I'm going to just paste this in there, which is just, say hello to the loan officer, introduce the user, and then hand off the call. And we're going to click save here. Perfect. I'm going to name this agent just really quick here. Perfect. So we have, we create our function, we have our prompt, we're pretty much ready to go. I'm going to select a different voice. This is, you can customize this to however you like. I typically just go with Susan. She sounds like the most human to me. So I'm just going to select Susan there, and I'm going to save this. And now we're going to go to GHL. So you're going to log in to whatever GHL account you're going to be using this. And all we're going to do is we're going to go to automations. And we're going to create a very simple workflow here. So we're just going to click start from scratch. And again, the trigger can be anything, leads form, whatever it is that you like. That can be anything. So for the trigger on this one, I'm just simply going to select the tag, which I already have that before. I'm just going to select the tag, and it's going to be test. And then the action here, we are going to do a webhook. So we're going to select this custom webhook here.
Alex, can you go a little bit slower?
Oh, really? Okay. I wasn't sure. I thought I was already going slow. Okay. Yeah. Should I go back or anything? I don't know.
Maybe just recap real quick. So you have a trigger, right?
Yeah. So yeah, we have a trigger. Again, the trigger can be anything, guys. This, as long as they're in your GHL, this could be anything. We could have the contact change. Maybe they could be in a different pipeline. You have a form and they submitted the form, right? Because we have all that available, right? So form submitted. I can just simply select form submitted. The form is, this one, for example, I have this dummy form. Maybe they filled out that form, then I want to call them. Maybe you're running Facebook ads, right? Or maybe you're running Google ads. So as soon as they submit that form, we want to call them right away, right? The whole speed to lead system there. So we want to call them as quickly as possible. So this trigger can be anything. Just again, for this demo, I'm just going to use the contact tag there. And in Retell, all we've done so far, which again, is just a very simple prompt, and we created a function that's going to allow us to transfer this call. In this example, it's going to be to a senior mortgage officer, but this could be, you could take any other action. You could book an appointment or all sorts of stuff, which last workshop, that's what that was on, booking appointments. So hopefully we're all good up to here. Cool. Next, I'm going to go to Retell, and I'm going to go to Retell just like to the homepage, and we're going to go to the documentation. And the reason we're going to go to documentation is we're going to prepare the information that we're going to be sending over. So we're going to go to Retell AI, and we're going to go to the API references, and we're going to go to create a call. So this is where we want to go. And we're actually going to click on try it. The reason that we're clicking on try it, because this is actually going to build the request for us, and we're simply going to build it here, and we're just going to copy and paste this into GHL. You're going to see exactly how that works. So first, we're going to need this authorization. Now, we need to get an API key from Retell. So I'm going to go back to Retell. I'm going to go back. I'm going to click on API keys here. And then we're going to create a new key right here on the top right. I'm going to give this a name. And then we'll click on create. And you can create as many as you want. You can always go ahead and delete this. But you can see I have my key here. And all I'm going to do is just copy it. I'm just going to select this, copy. I'm going to go back to the Retell AI documentation. Here we go. Close this one. And I'm just going to paste it in there, just like that. So I have my API key there, and actually it works. And then from the from number, you should have any number in your Retell AI account. So I'm going to go back to my phone numbers. You guys can see I have a few of them. I'm just going to select one of them, this one. And this is a number that you're going to be calling out from. So whatever number you want to, be calling out from, pretty much. And I'm going to paste that in there. Make sure that it's in this format with like the +1 and there's no spaces or anything like that. For the to number, we're going to be swapping this out for the user's number, right? Because we want this to be dynamic. Every time someone submits a form or they, remove the pipeline, this should change. The number should change. So what I want to do is I'm just going to paste the same Retell AI number in here. We're going to be updating this shortly, but just for the sake of this, just paste it. Because what you'll notice is as we're pasting data, you'll see up here, it's building out this data object for us. And this is what we're going to be copying into GHL. So you can see that there's this data object right here. Then we have our agent override. All this means is what agent do we want to use to make this outbound call. So I'm going to go back to Retell. I have my Retell mortgage agent that I'm going to use. And on the top, we have this agent ID. And I just want to copy that. And then I'm going to go back to docs, and I'm going to paste that in here. And again, you can see that this updated here, right? We have our agent override ID there. Are we all good so far on this portion? Yeah, cool. Perfect. This other thing, this is just like customer metadata, and we are going to be using this. You can put all sorts of stuff. This is not going to be like any dynamic variables. We're actually going to be setting our dynamic variables here. But one thing that I do want to pass might be like the contact ID. So on here, I'm going to type contact underscore ID, and I'm going to select enter. For now, I'm going to just type gibberish. All I need is just to know that it's there. So it doesn't matter. We're going to replace this. You can add other stuff, like maybe you had other ways to reference. Maybe you had like a loan number. Maybe you had something else that the user doesn't necessarily have to know, but you need to know internally. You can go ahead and paste that metadata. Again, you guys will see how we're going to be using this. And then we get into our dynamic variables. So this is where we're creating all those or populating that personalized information. So if I click on add new property, one of those things that I want to pass over is going to be the client name. So I want the client name. I'm going to click enter. And then you can see that it gave me this little box. I can just type something in there for now. And you can create more. If you click create add property, I'm going to put like client state. I'll click enter, and you can see it added that there again. And I can put California. You can continue to add more stuff on here, as much stuff as you want.
Alex, sorry to interrupt. Can you go slightly slower?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let's see here. Well, let me see. Did I skip over something? Or what am I going too fast on? Actually, just to recap, right? So
I think a lot of people are not familiar with this window here that you have that you're sharing. So can you just give them maybe an overview? Like, why are we here in the first place?
Okay, perfect. So the reason that we're here is in order for us to create an outbound agent and here and GoHighLevel, right? If we click on webhook, you'll notice that we need to send this information somewhere. So this webhook is asking us for a URL where we're going to be sending this information. It's asking us for an authorization, which we're going to set this up. And then it's asking for a body, right? What are we going to be sending over? In this case, we're sending this over to Retell AI. And this body here is what we're creating. Technically, you do not have to use this. You don't have to use this page that I'm on. The only reason that we're using it, it's in hopes to like kind of like make it simpler for you, because you can go on here, right? I can just go to this Retell AI documentation, click try, and then it'll build that for me, that data that we're going to be sending. That's the reason that we're on this page. Again, but you don't have to. You could, if you already know like what you're doing, you could just build it yourself, and I could just literally like paste it in here, just like that, because this is how it's going to look, right? And again, building it that way, it's just easier if you're not familiar with it, and also like prevent from making mistakes. For example, if you leave out a little comma, all this thing's gonna break. So you wanna make sure that everything is formatted properly. So hopefully that makes sense on why we're using the documentation. And again, there's tons of more information on here that it's very helpful for like getting calls or anything else. So I definitely suggest that you guys get familiar with the API documentation, especially if you want to make any integration, any stuff like that. So hopefully that clears that up on why we're using that.
And then Alex, just real quick, what is the override agent ID? Like, what is the purpose of that?
Let me go back. The agent override ID, this is what agent you're going to be using to handle this call. So, and this is actually a great feature, because I really like this, because you can have different agents for different things. Maybe you have, let's say, this customer submitted, maybe you have multiple cities, right? Or maybe multiple states. Someone submits their form in Florida, so you want like a Florida agent to reach out and call them versus one in California. You can change, you could have a different agent ID. So that's what this is. It's basically, what agent do you want to use to handle this call?
Got it.
Hopefully that makes sense there. And obviously the rest, it's the number, who we're trying to call. Here, I just put this dummy data. Don't worry, we're going to replace this with this needs to be dynamic. So this is going to change with the user's number. This is the number that you want to show on the cell phone of that person that you're calling. And again, metadata, that's just like information that you might want to have access to. And the reason that we're passing over the contact ID is so that when we search for this user, or maybe we need to upload a note, I can just use the contact ID instead of searching for that contact in my CRM. Hopefully that makes sense. And that will make sense a little bit more as we go along. And then obviously the variables, if we go back to the prompt, you'll notice that I'm using the client name, right? I don't want it to call, especially if they filled out the form. I want this to be personalized. I don't want to just call and say, hey, how you're doing, blah, blah, blah. I want it to like say, hey, Luigi, this is Alex from Retail Mortgage. I noticed you filled out the form. You might want to say other things, like, I noticed you're interested in buying a 3-bedroom house, or I noticed you're looking to purchase in this city. You can put anything, any dynamic variables. What's important here is that it has to match. Whatever I name this has to be the same name here, right? You'll see it, client name. That has to match. So that's what allows us to personalize it and use that information within Retell. And you can use it anywhere. So hopefully that makes sense. Are we clear on that? Just want to make sure I'm not missing anything.
All good.
Okay, cool.
Awesome. Good job, Alex.
Perfect. Awesome. Okay, so now all we're literally going to do is, now that we have this data, you see that we formatted our object, we have everything that we need to make this call. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to like copy this. I'm going to select all of this. I'm going to copy it. And then I'm going to go back to GHL, and in this custom webhook, right? So I selected. Let me start. Go back. So I select the trigger, and I type custom webhook. Here it is, custom webhook. And I'm going to scroll down here to the raw body, and I'm going to paste that in there. Now we're going to be swapping out this to number, right? Because we don't want that to be always the same number. We don't want to be calling the same number all the time. So I'm going to delete that. The contact ID needs to be replaced. So I'm going to delete that. And then obviously the name, I'm going to leave California just for the sake of it, but you can replace it with whatever you like. So we need to get this phone number. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on custom values. Well, actually, I'm going to click between the commas. And you know what? Let me delete the commas. Maybe that will, I don't want to make this more confusing. So I'm just going to select it, put my cursor there, and I'm going to click on custom values. And you see, I'm looking for the phone number. So I'm going to do contact. And I want to do the phone, but the raw format. The raw format is going to give us the +1. And then it's not going to be formatted nicely. So this is the one that we need. So you need to do raw format there. So perfect. And you can see it out of the little quotes there for us. So that works. Next, we need this contact ID. So again, I put my cursor there. I'm going to click the custom values, contact, and I should be able to scroll all the way down. And then here's the ID. So I'm going to select the contact ID. Next, the name. I'm going to click custom values. I'm going to click contact. I only need the first name on this one, but if you had other stuff, you can paste it. And again, here I'm leaving California, but if you had a custom value with this, you literally just doing the same. You're just pasting it in. So again, what we should be filling out is this to number. This needs to be dynamic. Who it is that we're calling. The contact ID is just the contact ID for this contact, right? So we can use it later on. We're passing over the first name, and you can pass anything else. Any other variables? Are we all clear on that?
Yeah, Alex, can you just show how you got into this role by the section of iLevel?
Yeah. So let me go back. Whatever. I'm not gonna. Let me copy this real quick. Okay. So I'm gonna go back. In high level, all I did was go to automation. So automations, and then all I did was create a workflow. That's it. So automations, create a workflow. We're going to select start from scratch. We don't need a recipe or anything like that. And remember, the trigger can be anything. Can be anything, guys. Form submit, Facebook form, whatever it is that you like. Again, all I'm using here is just a tag, but the trigger can be anything. For mine, I'm just selecting this test tag. And then for the trigger, we're selecting a webhook. So webhook, and we want to do the custom webhook here. Okay, so click on that. Again, I'm going to delete this raw body, and I'm going to paste the values that I got from that other page. Now, a couple other things that we need to do is we need to fill out the URL, and then we need to provide the authorization. So I'm going to go back to that page. For the URL, you can see it right here. It's right there, right? So URL. So I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to go back to GHL. I'm going to paste that in there. And then for authorization, and then the authorization, this is just like saying, hey, I could use this retail account. It's okay for me to communicate with this retail account. So we're going to select bear token here. And the reason that we're using that, because it tells you in the documentation, if we go above, you'll notice that it says bear here. So it's telling us already. And we need to add our API key to that. So you can find your API key. If we go back in retail and you click on API keys, you'll have a bunch of them. You might have a lot more, you might have less. Whatever API key you're using, just copy it. And then we're going to go back to GHL and we're going to paste that in here, just like that. So we don't need to worry about anything else. We don't need headers or query parameters. You're going to leave this content type as is, and that's it. So we're going to click save. And then we're going to publish this. And that's literally it. And let me delete this other one, just so you don't get confused. I already had created another one, which is the exact same thing. And I'm just going to delete this so we can see. And I'm just gonna name this really quick here. Save them. Now I'm going to go back to my contact, and you guys should all be able to test it out here. I'm going to go back to my contact. So I added myself on here. I'm just going to click on myself, and I'm going to delete the test tag, and then I'll add it again. And I expect to receive a call here. So We'll wait a second. Perfect. So you can see it's calling me. You guys can't probably see my screen, but it's calling me from that number that we selected. So let's check it out. Hello?
Hi, is this Alex?
Yeah, speaking.
Hi, Alex. This is Mia from Retail Mortgage. You recently submitted a form on our website about mortgage options, and I wanted to follow up. Is now a good time to chat briefly about your mortgage needs?
Yeah.
Great. Thanks, Alex. To get started, are you currently looking to buy a new home, or are you considering refinancing your existing
Yeah,
mortgage?
I'm looking to buy a new home in Orange County for $4 million. I have 800 credit score, and I've been at my job for 15 years. Can you transfer me to your loan officer?
Wow, Alex, with an 800 credit score and that kind of job stability, you're in a fantastic position. Let me connect you with one of our mortgage experts right now. They'll provide personalized guidance and help you explore the best options for your new home in Orange County. One moment.
Hello?
Hello, this is Mia from Retail Mortgage. I have Alex on the line who is looking to buy a new home in Orange County for $4 million. Alex has an 800 credit score and has been with his job for 15 years. I'm handing off the call to you now.
See, thank you. Hi, Alex.
Yeah, now we get an echo. But there you have it. It was literally that easy, guys. This was obviously, it's a very simple use case, right?
Sorry,
And
Alex, just a second. Can you guys put a 1 in the chat if this was just amazing? Like, I just want to see it. Like, look at that. Look at that, Alex. Look at that. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was
Thank
super
you.
simple, guys. And again, just to recap, that literally came from this function. You guys see how simple it is to transfer that call. What triggered it, right? If we take a look at our prompt here, they qualified and we said, then call the function transfer call. So that's what's happening here, right there. And yeah, super simple there. Can it be transferred to another Retell AI agent? It absolutely can be transferred to another Retell AI agent. Yeah, it totally can. You literally all you have to do is type the phone number there. And then back to the dynamic variables, another thing that we could do is we can actually use a dynamic variable to pass this phone number there. So for example, I can create a transfer number, and I'm going to use a variable there. I'm going to update it. And we can pass this information over from GHL. So maybe you have, again, depending on the different locations, maybe you have different loan officers, or maybe you have different numbers that, that you want to send this to. We can literally use a dynamic variable. So here we were passing the client state. I can just create another dynamic variable, and I think I called it transfer number. I have to check. Transfer number. I can create another one. I can literally paste that phone number in there. And now it's going to use this phone number as that transfer number there. Again, you can see I go back to retail. I forgot what I named that variable. You see we don't have any transfer number in there, so I'm just going to select this variable, update this. And we can literally pass that. And now when I call this number, that dynamic variable will be used. And again, I can put any number in there. You can have multiple numbers. You might swap that out. There's all sorts of stuff that can happen. So I'm just looking at a couple of these questions. Can you put the company name in the Outbound? Yes, you can. So you can, if you go to phone numbers, and let me save this actually. I don't know if I saved it. If you go to phone numbers in your Retell AI account, go to phone numbers here. Is it here? I feel like it is here. Or maybe I missed it. It's somewhere here. Sorry. No, you definitely can. I know you can. I'm not sure if Breeze is on the call or, oh, here we go. Right. So your Twilio numbers, we have the verified number, and you can set this up. It's $100 a month, and then you can also do branded calls. So you see those options right here in your phone numbers. So,
Alex, just real quick, because I think Adam brought up a good point, which at some point everyone runs into it, which is the latency. Would you agree that the prompt has a lot to do with it, or how can people avoid that latency so that the agent doesn't sound like robotic and you have these 5 seconds wait before they answer?
I mean, the prompt does have a lot to do with it. The prompt, obviously, the model that you're choosing. Here, I just went with 4.0, which is a pretty good one. The voice that you're using, I always go with 11 Labs. I feel like Play HT is faster, but I like the quality of 11 Labs better for me. So yeah, absolutely, the prompt does matter. And that's kind of the reason that there's all the agents, right? So we have this multi-prompt, which just breaks it down. Part of the reason that we're breaking it down is to make it faster and only have it focus on that specific component, and even the conversation flow also. So if you have, I think, if a very complex case, then you might be better off going with, maybe a multi-prompt or a conversation flow agent there. And if your number is verified in Twilio, then it should display as verified when that call is being made there. So I'm just going looking through these questions here.
Yeah, there was a lot that came through at the same time. I'm trying to, some are saved here, some are more relevant to right now.
So when you use GHL automation versus Make versus Zapier, it really depends on what your workflow is. Like for this example, everything is within GHL. Like we have easy access to the contact within GHL. So it wouldn't make sense for me to somehow send this over to make.com or Zapier in order to initiate this call. But maybe it would make sense if I have my data within GHL, and then maybe I have some other customer data in some other CRM or in some Excel sheet, or maybe I need to reference some other data, then you might want to connect Make or Zapier. And here we're going to be using N8N in this second part here. I'm going to show you how we can add a note, right? So oftentimes you want, after the conversation, right, you want to know what happened with the customer, if the call went well or not. So that's what we're going to be doing now in the second part, where we're going to be creating a note, right? So we might want to say here, customer is interested in a mortgage. We transfer them over to an agent, whatever that can be, or the call summary. So, and hopefully that makes sense on why. Okay, yeah, there is a lot of questions here.
Yeah.
So I'll explain the transfers and the different types of transfers really quick, because that is important. And that's, let me go back to the agent here. When we did this transfer, we went with warm. And if you notice, the agent introduced the customer to Luigi, right? So I'm the customer, and it introduced it, said, hey, Luigi, I have Alex on the line. He's looking to purchase a new home in Orange County, and it gave an introduction. So that's what the warm transfer is. It allows you to select a prompt or a static message. And when we do the cold transfer, it's just going to transfer just straight up. And we can do, for example, we can transfer the person's number or the Retell AI number, but it's just going to transfer just right away. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, also.
So, well, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, because some people have still questions about the warm transfer. Since it was a warm transfer, there was no wait, there was no hold, there was nothing. So the customer is actually on the phone with Alex in that moment, for example. And then when it was transferred, the call to me, the customer was still on the phone. So it's actually a warm transfer, okay? Everybody is listening to the same thing at the same time. There is no music or things of that nature. Now, if you do a cold transfer, of course, there might be a music from the company in a way.
Yeah, but in this reference, the warm transfer just means that the agent is handing off. The AI agent is talking to the person that's picking up the phone. Whoever you're transferring it, they're going to do some handoff message. That's what it means in this context.
Alex, quick question. Are you done with the build or there is more?
I was going to go through one more thing, which is what's
Okay.
going to be how to extract information and how to send it. I'm going to show you how to create a note in GoHighLevel with the call analysis.
Yeah. If you can show that over the next 15 minutes or so, then we can jump into Q&A.
Perfect.
So we can let everyone unmute themselves and ask what they want to ask.
Yeah, perfect. Let's just finish that really quick, guys, just so I can show you how to send that information, then we'll jump into Q&A. Perfect. So all we're going to do in order to do that, we're going to go to N8N. And I'm using N8N. If you're familiar with Make and you already know how like Make works or Zapier or whatever, the same concept will apply. It's going to be slightly different, but the same concept will apply there. So in N8N, and if you're not familiar with it, it's just like Make.com or Zapier. You can see I don't have anything. It's just an empty workflow here. And I'm going to select this add first step. And all I want to do is create a web call here. A webhook, not a web call, a webhook. And then I'm going to select post request here. And I'm going to select this, this test URL here. And I'm going to go back to Retell. And in Retell, you notice that you have this webhook settings. And when you click on that, you have a couple of options. We have this inbound call URL, and then we have this agent level webhook. The difference is that when you do the inbound, but obviously what this is for inbound calls, it allows you to set like dynamic variables and do things like that. The agent level, it's going to send you any information like when the call gets started, if there's an error with the call, if there's anything like that, it's going to send it over. And this is very helpful because, for example, I think I see in the chat someone talking about like 20 calls, or like what happens if you you can't even make any more calls. Maybe there's an issue with the LLM or the phone number. Then you want to have backups and you want to be listening for those events. The way we're listening for those events is using the agent level webhook. And it actually talks about it here in the documentation. We can see that we have anytime the call is started, it's going to give us information when the call is ended, and then the call analysis. Oftentimes, people want the call analysis because you want to know what happens after the conversation, and extract like the call recording and things like that. So that's what we're going to be doing right now. But yeah, hopefully that makes sense. So all I did was just paste my webhook here, my from N8N. And again, this can be anything. If you're using Make, that's okay. You just need to paste the webhook here where you can receive that information. I'll click Save. And then I'm going to go back to N8N here. And I'm going to leave everything as is, literally just like that. And I'm going to save it. And I'm going to call the phone number. I'm going to call right now. And you're going to see the data that we're going to get back and how we're going to be able to use that data, okay? Now, when you first start with your webhook, you want to test for event. And the reason that we want to test for event is because we haven't yet built it out, so we want to kind of play with some data. So I'm going to click on this. In N8N, there's like it times out. I think it's after like 90 seconds or 2 minutes. So I'm not going to click on this just yet. Like as I'm going through the call, I'll click on this, okay? And hopefully that makes sense. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to delete this tag, and I'm going to set it again. That way we can see the data that we're going to get back. I'll click test. Hello?
Hi, is this Alex?
Yeah, speaking.
Hi, Alex. This is Mia from Retell Mortgage. You recently submitted a form on our website about mortgage options, and I wanted to follow up. Is now a good time to chat briefly about your mortgage needs?
Yeah, I'm looking to buy a house, $800,000, Orange County. I have an $800 credit score, and I've been working for 15 years. Can you transfer me over to your loan guy?
Thanks for sharing that, Alex. With your strong credit score and stable work history, you're in a great position. Let me connect you with one of our mortgage experts right now who can provide personalized guidance for your $800,000 home purchase in Orange County. Alex, it seems like there was a small hiccup on my end while trying to connect you. Let me quickly sort this out and ensure you get the...
All right, let's find out. Had a bit of an issue there, but it still it still works technically, right? You can see that I got some data back here, and this is what I mean. Like even when you have errors, it's important that you know like what's happening with each call. And here you can see that I'm getting an event called call ended, and it's basically telling me everything that happened with this call. The transcript, I have detailed object here. I'm going to minimize this. Anything to do with like the latency, the reason for the disconnection. So I hung up, right? She said I had an error, and then I just hung up. That's important. We have like the contact. This was the metadata that I passed over. So this is a contact ID directly from GHL that we can go ahead and use. I have the cost breakdown. And of course I have, who I called and all that stuff there. And I'm gonna just quickly go back to GHL. So there was an issue there. And I believe the issue there was with the dynamic variable. So I'm gonna check my automation. I don't think I saved that workflow. It didn't actually transfer. And I think because I forgot to add that, I forgot to save it last one. So if you guys remember, we were trying to do a phone number, a dynamic variable as a phone number here. And I forgot to save my workflow in GHL. So that's what happened there. I'm just pasting this in here. Hopefully it's clear why we're doing the agent webhook and why we want to listen to the events. I'll click save. I'm actually going to go back to my NNN workflow here. Just really quick. Perfect. Okay. So let's try this one more time. What I'm looking for is, you want to keep an eye out for this call ended, but I also want the, what I'm looking for is like the call analysis. So that's what we're looking for, this call analysis, analyzed. So let me go through this really quick one more time, and then we should be good.
Then Alex, later, could you show Retell's dashboard to see all the calls, what happens?
Yeah, I'll show that. Let me just, I should make this script shorter, but. Hey. Hello?
Hi, is this Alex?
Yeah, speaking.
Hi, Alex. This is Mia from Retell Mortgage. You recently submitted a form on our website about mortgage options, and I wanted to follow up.
Yeah.
Is now a good time to chat briefly about your mortgage needs?
Yeah, I'm looking to buy. I have 800 credit score. I'm looking to buy a house in Orange County. Can you transfer me over to your loan department?
Thanks for sharing that, Alex. It sounds like you're interested in buying a home in Orange County.
Yeah.
Before I transfer you, could you tell me a bit more about your timeline for purchasing and your current financial situation? This will help us ensure we connect you with the right specialist.
My credit score is 800, and I've been working at my job for like 15 years.
That's fantastic, Alex. An 800 credit score and stable employment for 15 years put you in a great position. Since you're looking to buy in Orange County, this could be a perfect time to explore your options. Let me connect you with one of our mortgage experts who can provide personalized guidance and help you take the next step. Hang tight for just a moment.
There we go again. Hello?
Hello, this is Mia from Retell Mortgage. I have Alex on the line, who is looking to buy a home in Orange County and has an excellent credit score of 800. I'm handing off the call to you now.
Perfect. And to answer your question, Milan, I am qualifying myself just for the sake of like speeding through the prompt. But because I don't want you guys to like listen to 3-minute conversation every single time I call it. So yeah, I am just kind of speeding through it there. Perfect. So here we got back this data, and you're going to keep getting a bunch of data back. But again, we got the transcript. And let me scroll down. And I know what happened here. I'll show you guys really quick. Perfect. Okay. So a couple of things here. You notice that I still didn't get the call, that one that I was looking for. And the reason that I didn't get it is because I'm listening for one event, and there's multiple events like happening, like firing after each other. So I'm actually going to switch to production URL. And if I go back to Retell, that's what I want to use. So instead of this test URL, I'm just going to put the production URL so that it's constantly listening. Otherwise, it's only going to listen that one time. And I'll show you in another example so we don't have to go through this again. That way you can kind of see how the data looks and what we're going to be receiving from Retell. So let me just go back. So if I go to my executions, you can see I have all these executions. This is from the same webhook. And if we take a look at some of these, here you see that we have this call analyzed. And in this call analyze, we're going to have some, let me see, nothing happened in this call. They didn't answer. So that's great. Let's see what other ones do we have. Call ended. All right, sorry. Let me just go through this one more time because I have a bunch of executions here. So I don't want to delay this. And I'm going to make sure that this is active and not perfect. And I did copy my production URL. Cool. So I'm just going to call it one more time here. And I'm going to go through it pretty fast just so that we can get this done. And yes, Moses, we're basically doing a call filter. Exactly. Hello? Yeah, speaking.
Hi, Alex. This is Mia from Retell Mortgage. You recently submitted a form on our website about mortgage options, and I wanted to follow up. Is now a good time to chat briefly about your mortgage needs?
Yeah, now's a good time.
Great. Thanks, Alex. To get started, are you currently looking to buy a new home, or are you considering refinancing your existing mortgage?
I'm looking to buy a new home for like $800,000 in Orange County.
Got it. You're looking to buy a home in Orange County for around $800,000. That's exciting. Do you have a timeline in mind for when you'd like to make the purchase? Are you aiming for something soon, like within the next 90 days or a bit further out?
Yeah, I think ideally with the next 90 days. Sooner the better, honestly.
That's a great... Got it, Alex. The sooner, the better makes sense. Let me ask a couple of quick questions to better understand your situation. Do you have a general idea of your credit score range? For example, is it above 620?
Yeah, it's definitely above. It's like 800.
Wow, an 800 credit score, that's fantastic, Alex. That'll definitely help you secure some of the best rates available. And how about your income? You have a stable source of income to support this purchase.
Yeah, I've been working at the same job for 15 years.
That's great to hear. 15 years at the same job shows excellent stability. One last quick question. Do you have a sense of your debt to income ratio? Or in simpler terms, do you feel comfortable with how your current debts compare to your income?
Ooh, I have no idea.
No problem at all, Alex. That's something we can help you figure out during the process. Based on what you've shared so far, it sounds like you're in a great position to move forward. I'd love to connect you with one of our mortgage experts right now. They can provide personalized guidance and help you explore the best options for your $800,000 home purchase. Let me get you over to them.
Hello?
Hello, this is Mia from Retell Mortgage. I have Alex on the line who is looking to buy a new home in Orange County for around $800,000 and has a fantastic credit score of 800.
No,
Alex,
sorry, we're closed.
who will assist you further?
Perfect. Cool. All right. So now if I go back to my workflow and we take a look at the executions, this is what I mean by it's constantly sending you information. So at the start of the call, if I click on this and you can see that I got this call started. So you can do anything with this. You can trigger other events, all sorts of things that you can do with this. Maybe you want to update the opportunity. Maybe you have like a list of leads and you want to know which ones actually answered the call versus which ones didn't. That can be one of the ways to do it. And then when we take a look at this middle one, we have this call ended, right? So this call ended has our transcript. It has any reason why the call ended and things like that. And it should actually say, let's see, minimize this. So here, the disconnection reason, we can see that this was transferred, right? Call, so maybe you want to check for that, make sure that the call was actually indeed transferred, and then you can trigger actions based on that. And then the last one that we have, which is the one that we want, it's going to be this call analyze, right? And then this is going to have our transcript. It's going to have the duration when the call started. And then we have our recording URL. So if I wanted, again, to maybe upload this or like listen to the call, I can get it from here. Again, the reason why this call, the cost, any sort of analysis or like the call summary. So maybe this is what we're actually going to be passing over to GHL. We're going to be using this here. So cool. Quickly check. Are we all good on that, on why we did that? Sorry, I'm just checking something really quick here. Cool. Perfect. Okay, cool. Awesome. So now let's go ahead and send this over to GHL as a note. And all I'm going to be doing is passing this call summary and then the URL for the call recording over to a GHL note. And I'm going to copy this body, and hopefully this makes sense of why I'm copying this really quick. In our workflow here in NNN, I'm going to go back to it, and I want to add a switch node. So I'm going to type switch. And all this does, this is going to check for something, right? So this is where we're going to be checking did the call start, did the call end, was it analyzed? And if it was, then we're going to take a certain action. And I'm going to go to Postman really quick. Hopefully this doesn't get confusing. The only reason that I'm using Postman is so I can send this information over to myself. Like I'm pretending that I'm Retell just so that we can see how it works. But in a real scenario, Retell's just going to send it to you. Hopefully it makes sense. Just bear with me here, please. So all I'm doing in Postman, and if you're not familiar with Postman, it just sends information to endpoints, to like APIs and things like that. And all I'm doing is just passing over the information that I originally got from Retell. And I'm going to go back here. I'm going to select the test webhook. Copy this. And I'm just going to send it over. Perfect. Okay, so this is what I would have gotten from Retell, right? After the call ended, I would have got my transcript and everything that we just went over. I'm going to go to my switch webhook, to my switch node here. And this event, you'll see that there's under the body, you'll notice that there's event right here. All I want to do is drag this in here because this is what I want to check. So is the event, for example, call analyzed? Is it equal to call analyzed? And I'm going to rename this just so that I know. Okay. And then we're also going to have other events. So this is where you can also listen to those events. Again, the other events that we're going to be getting are going to be call ended and call started. So you can also take actions from there. And I forget who was asking about how you filter it. This is how you filter it. And if I go back, I'm going to copy this. Same thing. It's the exact same values. They're going to go in here because we're always checking the same value. And then we have this call started. Perfect. And I'm going to test this. And we can see that it went to the call analyze because it matches that value there. So hopefully that makes sense. And again, from here, you can just take any action that you want. Now, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be creating a note in GHL. And in order for us to do that, I'm going to pull up the documentation really quick, which is going to be very, very simple. In order for us to create a note, we need to send a request to this spot. And one of the requirements is going to be this contact ID. If you guys remember earlier, contact ID is one of the things that we passed over in that webhook. If I go to my automation, when we trigger that outbound agent, the contact ID that's literally where we pass it, right? So we have this contact ID. So we're going to be using that to easily find the contact and then create this note. Again, this saves us from having to search for them. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to N8N. I'm going to click on the call analyze, and I'm going to click on add a node, and I'm going to do a request because I need to make a request to GHL. And if we go back to documentation, we're going to be making a post request, and then this is going to be the URL that we're going to be making this request to. So I'm going to copy this.
And Alex, just to be clear, it doesn't matter if you're using Salesforce, Zoho, you name it, right?
Yeah,
They
it doesn't
all
matter.
have the same documentation, same link.
Yeah,
Their
exactly.
own, obviously. Okay.
And that's kind of the thing. Like, I know I'm showing you in high level, but you can do this with anything. If you are using Zoho or you're using anything, the concept is the same. So hopefully that makes sense. So I'm going to use a post request, just as it says in documentation, right? Always read the docs. It says post, so that's what I'm going to be sending, a post request. I'm going to be sending it to that specific URL. And here you'll notice that we need to replace this with the contact ID. So on there, I'm going to erase that, and I want to fill it with the contact ID. And if we take a look at the information that we received in the call analysis, I'm looking for that metadata. So let me scroll down here. And we should have somewhere metadata here. Oh, right here. I think I lost it. No, I didn't. No, man, I should have minimized this. Let me scroll all the way down here. Jeez, okay.
Use Control F contact ID.
You're right. You are right, sir. Okay, that didn't work for me. Sorry, I'm just looking for that. Oh, here it is, metadata. This is what we're looking for, this metadata. And then on the metadata, you'll see that we have this contact ID right here. So we just want to drag this, and I'm going to paste it between this, the little dashes there. So I'm just going to drag that, and I'm going to put it in there. Let me make this bigger just so we can see. Okay, so it didn't go in the right spot. I'm just going to copy it, and I might want to make sure that it's right here. Perfect. And you can see it formats it for us. So now we have that contact ID. We don't have to search for anything like that. We need to authenticate ourselves. So if we look at the documentation, same concept as Retell, we need to send over an authorization key. And we're going to be getting that authorization key by going to GHL. We're going to go to settings. And under settings, you want to click private integrations. Let's click that. And then we're going to create a private integration. If you're not familiar with private integrations, all this means is that you're going to create an API key that allows you to communicate any system with your GHL sub account. So that's what we're doing here. I'm going to give this a name. I'm just going to put like Retell. Select next. And then the scopes are the different things that you want this particular API key to have access to. I'm just going to select, you can select all of them if you want to. You can be specific on certain things that you want to. The main thing that I want here is to view contacts, edit contacts. Like I'm going to be creating notes. I don't think there's one specifically for notes. You can select every single one of these if you like. I don't think there's a specific one for notes. I believe that falls under contacts. So, which it should. Perfect. Okay. So I'm just going to select, I'm just going to click create. And this is going to give me my API key. So I'm going to copy that. And make sure that you save this somewhere. What's going to happen is once you exit out of this screen, you're not going to be able to see this anymore. So it's, yeah, make sure that you save it somewhere. Already pasted it. I'm going to click exit, and then you see it's gone. So make sure that you save it somewhere, please. Then I'm going to go back to N8N, and I'm going to send headers. I'm going to click on this headers, and for the value, I'm going to put bearer, just like that, bearer, and then a space, and then I'm going to paste my API key. And this value is going to be called authorization. I'm not good at spelling, so I'm just going to copy this from here. We need to send authorization, and I'm actually just really quick. I'm going to put this side by side so we don't have to be like that. Perfect. So I'm going to send the authorization. I also need to send the accept right here. So I'm just going to paste that in there, and I'm just going to copy this value here, which says application JSON. I'll click add another parameter. I'm going to do my content type. I'll paste that here. And it's also going to be this application JSON as the value. And then the last one's going to be our version, which I'm going to copy that version for this API. And I'll paste that in there. Perfect. Cool. Okay, so we have our headers, and then the next thing is we need to send a body here. And in the body, we can just send like a string. So let's do that. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to do the body, and let me see here. I'm going to do, actually, I can just leave this like that. I'm just going to type body in here as a name for the parameter. So I selected body. It's just going to be a JSON, and I'm going to specify this body parameter, which is just literally called body. Yeah, body. And I'm just getting these names from right here, whatever it says right here. Body. And then for the value, I'm going to just get my call summary, and I'm just going to drag that in there, just like that. Perfect. And then I can test this. And you can see that this is going to give me an ID, and then it's going to give me, wherever was pasted. And then if I go back to GHL and I take a look at my contact, I should have a note with that information about that call. Ooh, sorry if it's seeming too complicated there. Let's see here. Let's refresh this. Sometimes GHL takes forever, so just. Oh my God, come on, bro.
Alex, how many minutes do you have still before we go into Q&A?
I'm pretty much done.
Okay.
We could test it out one more time if you guys want to. The main thing that I want to show you is, you can see there's a note, right? I contacted Retail Mortgage. I'm looking to buy a house for $800,000, whatever's. But this is how you can get information to GHL. Using the API, using a private integration, you can transfer anything over to GHL. Here, we're just doing a simple note, but you could use custom fields. You could upload anything that you like. Hopefully that makes sense. And we just touched on the call analyze, but you can do things with the call ended, call started, with other things. Hopefully that makes sense. Cool. So we can test it out one more time. If you guys like, we can jump into Q&A. I will share this blueprint, which is really going to be this workflow here. But I want to make sure that we're all clear. I don't want it to get too complicated here.
Yeah, no. Let's jump in Q&A, Alex, because there were a lot of questions.
All right.
I actually would like to start from John Billington, because he has been asking that same question for a while. John, you want to mute yourself and ask that question about your webbook error?
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
I keep getting. I've just tried it again. 1 sec. I'll just get the error up.
Yeah,
It's
so
about the API not connecting with the number. 1 minute. That's my. Sorry.
I think the error said cannot find phone number under given API key. That was the
that's
error
it.
that he was getting, Alex.
I'll
Let
post
me,
it now.
let me paste it here in the chat so you see it.
Okay, and then and then when you pasted the phone number in your retail account, did you paste it like with the 1? So if I go to my automation, it needs to be in that certain format. The outbound call with like the 1.
Yeah, I've pasted it like that.
And it's for sure, and the phone number is like for sure in that retail account.
Got the from number, yeah.
Do you have any other phone numbers that you could try? I'm curious to see if it's just that particular number, or do you want to share your screen?
I do actually. Let me try a US number.
Yeah, because it should, if you have the same phone number in the same workspace, it should absolutely work. Like it's
obviously has to be connected to the agent as well, yeah.
And while we wait, Alex, I'll ask another
phone number
question.
doesn't have to be connected to an agent, just FYI. Like the phone number that I used, let me see, what phone number? 616. I think it's this one that I used. It's not even connected to an agent.
Right, okay. I'm just going to try this one now then.
Yeah, so it should work.
So Billy had the same issue, John, and he says that he was able to resolve it.
Right, okay.
So Alex, a lot of people were asking, do I really need to use make.com? N8N, why can I just not use GHL?
You could just use GHL, like I said, to initiate the outbound call. You absolutely can. The only reason that I said that I introduced Make is because you need to listen to this events afterwards, right? Like only if you want to. And I think it's important if you're any sort of business to know what's happening with these calls, because this is what, to me, looks like this is what's going to make the agent even better. You need to know like the call is not going through, or have this issue, or have this error, or maybe you want to pull information from the call. It's difficult. It's very difficult to do in GHL. I frankly wouldn't even know how to do like a workflow like this in GHL. Not only that, Make, N8N, whatever of those, a lot of these platforms have like agents within it, which can help you analyze that data even better. But you could probably make it work in GHL. So,
Alex, to that, Arjun here, if you have a webhook trigger, use Postman to start this. Run it through Retell. Send the webhook like you're showing here trigger. You manage it somehow. Do you still need GHL and N8N to do this voice agent?
no, you don't. The only reason that I use GHL, is just GHL is my CRM. But you could use a Google Sheet. It could be anything. You don't have to use, and hopefully that's what you're asking. You don't have to use GHL.
Yeah.
You can literally use a Google Sheet. This could be a Google Sheet.
Yeah, what I'm trying to understand is when you think about Retell, I'm thinking about, hey, it can be a voice agent.
Mhm.
And then asking what else do I need for workflow? Because I couldn't do the workflow in Retell. Maybe that's why I need some other tool like you're showing here to create that workflow and invoke Retell.
Yeah, because you see, if you build an agent in Retell, I mean, it's going to be very basic, like in terms of what it can do, because if we just go with the basic things, like you can end the call, you can transfer the call, but you want to personalize the call too, or you might want to pull information into this call. Maybe let's say I was calling this person and say, hey, I want to know how much this house cost. Well, you're going to need to know the address, right? You're going to want to know the address. You're going to want to know information from me. So then you're going to need to create custom functions. Once you create custom functions, you need a webhook. Where is this information going to go to? And this is why I'm using N8N. You need to send this somewhere.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Alex, Moses Lamb was asking for the dynamic variables, if I wanted to collect an entire mortgage application, such as employment history, then all of the variables will need to be included in that section, correct?
Yeah, if you did want to include that, so one, you need to pass them through here, right? So if you were going to have mortgage history or whatever it is, credit history, right? So we can create one here, credit history, and then you would just type whatever credit history is there. And then in the agent, then you can just use that variable wherever. Just as I have the client name here, you could use it, we could create another one here in the context and say, this is the user's credit history. Right? And then we can just paste that variable. When you paste the variables, you always need to have the curly brackets. So you need to have two, and then we're going to type the variable name, the exact name that we gave it here. So I'm using credit history. It needs to match. I'm going to go back to Retell. I'm going to paste that in there and then just close it with curly brackets. So now when the conversation starts, it's going to know that, that this is the user's credit. It's going to know the name. If you're passing other information like a phone number or whatever else you're passing, it'll know based on the dynamic variables. And again, you can use them in other places more than just the prompt. As you saw, we use them in the functions. We use them in the transfer calls. You can use them in other places.
Great. Thank you, Alex. Minul was asking, why would we use Retell instead of just GoHighLevel voice AI agent?
That is an excellent question. And that I didn't want to get too crazy on that.
No infomercial, but
yeah. Look, my thing with that is the way I see GHL does everything under the sun. You guys might not like this, but I like GHL, but there's certain things that I don't like, and it just does too much for me. And I think it's like no feature is ever like works out of the gate perfect. I use Retell because to me it's like it's focused. It's a solution that's like focused specifically on one solution, and I'd rather go with that versus like using a software that does everything. Not only that, there's limitations to GHL. I haven't used it too much, but when they did release, I don't even know how you make function calls in GHL in the voice AI. To me, it's missing a lot of functionality. Then you're gonna run into, it's cool. Here I'm showing you a single prompt agent. That's fine. But what about when you need more complex cases? You're not gonna be able to do that in GHL. And by complex cases, I mean, like for example, this one's for a medical one, right? In a conversation, in a medical setting, there's a lot of stuff that's gonna happen. You're gonna wanna schedule an appointment. You're gonna need to cancel an appointment or reschedule, but then you also forgot when your appointments, you wanna confirm that. Or maybe you have an emergency, or maybe it's a medical provider calling the medical practice, right? Or it's a vendor, a supplier, or it's a patient calling about prescription refills or the insurance or their claim. There's so much that can happen that even a single prompt, it'll be difficult. And that's one of the things that Retell offers, where we can break this down into, for example, this is a conversation flow into multiple steps, right? And this one's kind of messy. But you can see that I'm breaking it down into multiple steps, multiple paths. So you have greater flexibility with this.
awesome.
Hopefully that makes sense. But if it works for you, if GHL works for you, then,
So I'm going to paraphrase Mike's questions, Mike Der La Calta. He was just like, you had the agent transfer the call to my cell phone, which I was supposed to be the loan officer, right? Let's say that I don't pick up the phone. What happens then? Like, what is the fallback system that someone could build? Obviously, it wasn't built for today, but what could we do there?
Yeah, so, and you know what? That could actually be a great thing. And I want to test that out. And that's kind of what we set up that workflow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call one more time, and we should receive that data. So we should have that data in the executions, right? As part of, again, if we go back and we check on my executions here, we can see that the reason that the call, it says call analyzed, right? It was transferred. So let's see if we get any sort of error and see if we can work off that. Because ideally, we would know that the call is not answered, and then we can maybe trigger another call, or we can do something else. Okay, so let's just quickly do that real quick here.
Or qualify yourself.
Yeah, I'll quickly qualify myself here, and obviously don't answer, Luigi. and then we'll see what happens.
Oh, yeah. I want to answer, yeah.
Or just hang up or something. I don't know. Over. Hello?
Hi, is this Alex?
Yeah.
Great. Hi, Alex. This is Mia from Retail Mortgage. You recently submitted a form on our website about mortgage options, and I wanted to follow up.
Yeah. Can you
Is
transfer
now a
me
good
to
time?
your loan officer? I want to buy a house in Orange County, 800,000. I have an 800 credit score, and I've been working for 15 years at the same job.
Thanks for sharing that, Alex. Based on what you've told me, you're in a great position to move forward. Let me connect you with one of our mortgage experts who can provide personalized guidance right now.
All right, so it's ringing. I'm not going to answer it. Very persistent.
No problem, Alex. If now isn't the best time, I can arrange for one of our experts to reach out at a time that works better for you. When would be a good time to connect?
Yeah, can you call me back, or maybe like tomorrow in the morning?
Absolutely, Alex. I'll make sure one of our experts gives you a call tomorrow morning. Thanks for your time, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
You too. Thanks.
You're welcome, Alex. Talk to you soon. Take care.
Okay, Alex, I
So-
just asked about multilingual, right? This, by the way, did happen to us today, and we didn't prompt the agent to speak Spanish or anything. You want to tell what happened, Alex, and what we found out?
Yeah, really quick before, because I want to finish that thought there on
Okay.
what happens, right? So you guys heard it there, right? It didn't answer. Technically, in the prompt, then we can take some sort of action. And within the prompt, we could say, if the call wasn't answered, maybe we want to schedule an appointment, right? So maybe we want to schedule them directly onto GHL or anything like that. So you can still do something else. Maybe you want to transfer them to another agent. So then we can trigger another function call and say, if that one didn't answer, then transfer them to this number. So there's many ways that we can do that. Hopefully that makes sense. And I'm not sure who asked the question. Hopefully that clarifies it.
So let's see.
And then you would also, again, by listening to these events, again, you can see that I have all this data, when the call got started, right? When the call got started there, when it ended. So we could tap into some of these to take some sort of action. Again, in this scenario, you don't really need to, because you could just prompt it to do something else. But if for some reason, like the call drops, you could take a look at the transcript. Maybe you could call them back. There's all sorts of things that you could do from this. And hopefully that makes sense.
Yep. And Alex, when it comes to long-term memory, where do you add this information?
Well, that's another part. The memory, like you want to reference like the last call, or like,
Or
what
it
do you
could be
mean?
multiple. It could be multiple
Yeah.
calls. It could be an email that was sent, or it could be anything really, like the
So
history.
that depends on your system, right? So you need to have somewhere where that information is being stored, and then we can be referenced by the agent, because the agent can reference it through dynamic variables, or if you're creating an inbound agent through the webhook, right? But you need to have that information somewhere. It needs to be loaded. So in GHL, maybe you're going to put it in the notes. Maybe every time something happens, and I'm just using GHL as an example, maybe you have all the notes like I have here, right? So you can see it did the last note here. And you can see it actually tells me right here, right? The agent Mia attempted to transfer the loan officer, but the transfer was not successful, then arranged to call. You see, so it actually, the note is there. We could reference all these notes. We could pull all these notes and reference them in the call if we wanted to. But again, this depends on your system. You might have, it could be at a Google Sheet, and you could have everything that has happened with that contact, and it could be referenced that way.
Okay. Also, there are quite a few people that had their hands up for a while. So there is Fabio Grigorjev. Are you here, Fabio?
Kind of. Grigoriev.
Oh, Gregorio, sorry, Fabio. What's your question?
No, I'm sorry. I didn't. I was by mistake.
Okay,
Sorry
no
about
problem.
that. Just enjoying the show
All right, I'll
from
go to.
Argentina.
Yeah, no problem. I'll go to the next person, which is Andrew
Thank you.
Custin.
Sorry.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, what's up, man?
I have a quick question on it. So I'm making like a rookie mistake. I feel like when I'm connecting the outbound, I'm connecting it from Google Sheets and I'm trying to transfer it to the arbitrary to HTTP to make all the calls, but it's not reading the data from the Google Sheets for some reason. Do you know if there's like an easy fix to that?
In Make, I'm not sure because I don't know too much Make, but I know you need to have like an API key for connecting like to Google Sheets. Did you set that up? Like
I use it
through
from Retell. Can I share my screen real quick?
Yeah. Go ahead. Let me see. Let me stop sharing. Cool. Let's take a look.
Okay, so for instance, let's see. So basically, like I got the API key from Retell, right? So I
Okay.
got everything from here, and I put it into here. And when I fill out my number, right, it calls me perfectly fine. But when I put it in to the aggregator, right, it's not reading the data properly, and this shows up as blank, right? So here it tells me that it cannot read the number that it's coming from, right? And it does not read the name, the address, the city, like all that stuff. Do you know how to fix that by any chance?
Not on Make. I'm sorry, I don't really use that. But if we click on like, is the data actually in the Google Sheet? What happens if we click on that first node?
So all the data is like here, but I was trying to just test it out with my info, and it's not working at all.
But if you go back to Make and you click on that first node, like what's populating there? Yeah. You see, it's not. There's no connection.
One sec. I don't know why it says access denied for some reason. Let me try to this. Do you think this issue will be solved by GoHighLevel?
What issue?
Just the outbound stuff. Like if I pop it, like if I put the Google Sheets into the workflow, will it take all the numbers and call the people based on their phone number? Oh,
yeah, it should, because you can loop through every single one of those rows and then take an action based on every single one of those rows. So absolutely.
Okay, and then I can set it up that it will like transcribe the call and everything like that from GoHighLevel as well, guessing, or using the NA8.
Yeah, you could send it like again. You could send that. You could use a webhook in GHL to receive that information, and you could do it that way. The only reason that I'm not doing it that way, just because again the limitations within GHL, like you just have like what chat OpenAI to like interpret things and like pull information. That might not always be the best, and sometimes you might need more reasoning to extract certain things from it.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah, here it is basically, right? So it's all mapped out properly. And then when I reached out to Make, they said that I need to create like a filter over here, and it needs to say a condition and tells, like, apparently it's not reading the bundles properly, but when I add it, it's supposed to be like more than 0. And if I put it more than 0 and try to run test it, it for some reason it still can't do it. So that's where I've been stuck for like 2 days now.
Yeah, unfortunately, dude, like if if you use NA, I could help you. I'm just not super familiar with like make.com.
Okay, I'll try to switch it. But yeah, hopefully with GoHighLevel will fix the issue. I didn't even think about GoHighLevel till now. But yeah, it actually makes sense. So I'll try to with GoHighLevel and then go from
Yeah,
there. Thanks
Andre,
so much.
Jasmine in the chat said you need to convert your content as JSON. I don't know if you already done that, but that's an option. Maybe you two can connect separately. I just want to, be respectful of other people that ask questions so we can get them there. And then we have Lila Lipovic. Are you here?
Yeah, I'm right here. Thanks,
Okay.
Luigi. Alex, great presentation. Thank you for all the information. I have a quick question. So I have a number of agents in Retell, and for some reason, one of them, in many cases, when somebody calls in, so it's an inbound agent, it doesn't always, on the first try, register the phone number. So when somebody speaks their phone number with the area code, it asks again and again, and if for some reason doesn't catch it. And then when I look at the log, it has, it puts in like some hyphens and stuff. And
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out, I assume it's an issue with a prompt. Have you experienced that at all?
You could use a prompt. One of the things that I like though, if it's gonna be an inbound, use an inbound webhook and just get the phone number directly. And instead of asking the user for the phone number, I ask, hey, is the number that you're calling me from your best phone number? That will eliminate a lot of them. Because most of them are going to say yes. And then the ones that say no, then you can kind of go into that process of collecting their phone number. And you can definitely do that with the prompt. But I would suggest an inbound webhook. That's going to give you that information and save it as a dynamic variable. You want me to show you really quick?
If you could, that would be amazing.
Yeah, so let me show you. So, and this one takes super long, but we can customize the agent. Let me go back here. And just so we'll test the same one out, but just to keep it super simple, I'm going to say, I'm going to define this message, and I'm just going to say, so I'm just going to say, hey, Alex, this is your phone number, and we're going to create a dynamic variable. So I'm going to title this user phone. That's going to be our dynamic variable. And I'm going to go back to N8N. I'm going to create a really quick workflow here. Actually, I think I already had one, whatever, so it doesn't matter. Just create a simple one. I'll create a webhook here. I'm going to listen for the event. This is actually going to be a post request. And perfect. I'm going to go back to Retell. I think I saved this. I want to put this webhook right here. Sorry, let me copy this test URL. I'm going to go back to Retell, and I'm going to paste it in this inbound webhook URL. This is going to be called before the conversation takes place. So this is where you can go ahead and load up dynamic variables or any information like the phone number. So I'm going to paste that in there. Okay, so I'm going to go to the phone number. It wants a phone number, so that's okay. I'll add the inbound webhook, and this just recently changed, so I'll paste that in there. And then for the inbound agent, I think I was using this Retell mortgage, so I'll paste that in there. And I'm going to call this, and then you will see the data that I'm going to get back right now. So I'm going to go back to N8N, and I'm just going to listen for the event. And I don't know the number, so let me call it.
Hey, Alex, is your phone number user phone, please?
Perfect. So as soon as I called it, you can see that I get this information. Under this information, I get this call inbound. And one of the things that I get is this from number. That's what you want, right? So now you have the user's phone number. And the reason this is so important is because you can then use this to reference any information, especially here in N8N, right? Now that I have that phone number, maybe I want to pull it off Salesforce and get their name or do whatever's. But let's just say at the very least, all we want to do is just return that phone number back to Retell. The way we're going to do that is we're going to click on this respond, and we're going to click on this last node finishes. And what we're going to do is we're going to set up that dynamic variable. All we're going to do is just set up a simple code node here. And I'm going to, let me back here, add a screen here real quick. All I'm going to do is just return some values here. So I'm going to return, let me make sure that this is formatted properly. And And just so you can see, this is what I'm looking at, the dynamic variables. Again, you can see that this is what we can just return this with the response. So I can just literally copy this and go back here. I can just paste it right there. Obviously, I don't want the username in this example, but I want the user phone. And I'm going to replace this. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to grab the user phone from here, from number, and I'm just going to drag it in there. And I'm going to go back, and I'll save this. I'm actually going to switch over to my production URL really quick, so I'll copy that, go back to Retell. Just going to paste that in there. By the way, the reason that I'm switching between a test and a production URL is the test, you first need to get that data, just as I did right now. I called it just so that I can see how the data looks. But then once I have it, I no longer need to do that because otherwise you have to constantly listen for the test event. I don't want to do that. So I just wanted to give me back the information. So that's why I'm switching URLs. Perfect. So now let's try this. So now I should call, and what should happen is it should greet me. If I go back to my agent, it should greet me and it should tell me my phone number, right? It should say, hey, Alex, is your phone number one, blah, blah, blah. And it'll have that context. So let's try it out.
Hi, Alex. Is your phone number on user phone?
Okay, so that didn't work. So let's find out why. No, because I didn't activate my workflow. Well, maybe that's why.
Hi, Alex. Is your phone number on user phone?
Okay, it's still not working. So good old troubleshooting. That's definitely not it. And another way great to troubleshoot is to do the call history. If you take a look at the call history, in any call, you're going to have data. And here we can see that we have the dynamic variables, and it was clearly not populated. So let's find out why. And actually, I think the way dynamic variables might have changed. I'm not sure if Reese is on the line. Do you know if the format changed, Reese? Really quick here. He might have got off.
Yeah, Reese left.
Did I not name it? Let's see here. Back to my agent. I want to make sure that I actually named it the same. User phone should be user phone. Yeah, it is the same name for sure. Let me take a look at the documentation. I think Evie got off too. Is Evie on here? No. So I think the way that
do you need to put the phone number inside double brackets?
it does it automatically. I actually think the way that we're sending back the information changed, like
Sorry,
recently.
double quotes, not double brackets.
It is. You can see it's already there.
Okay.
Yeah. It should definitely work. So let me see if I missed something. Last note finishes, first entry.
Is it worth seeing if the webhook was called?
Yeah, the webhook, yeah, that's a great idea. What's the webhook called? Yeah, so we did call it there. We got the inbound call. And then I returned this value, which was successful. Come on, guys.
I get to stump the expert. I love it.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good way to learn.
What about authorization headers or anything like that, preventing it?
Now, you literally don't even need that either. Yeah, you literally don't need any of that. It's just a simple return. I know for a fact it's a simple return, for sure. I have a feeling that the format changed, and that's why, but Let me quickly check on Discord here. Okay, it did change. I knew it. And here, I'm going to pull up the documentation here. It definitely did change. And let's see, inbound response. Perfect. Okay, so now let's try this. Let's give this a shot here. I'm going to go back to my workflow. Okay, I already forgot which one I was using. I'm just going to make this bigger really quick. And I'm going to paste that in there. So it's going to be a call inbound, the agent ID. I'm just going to select that agent again. And the reason this is also different, and this actually, I like this. For example, when we work with doctors, sometimes you have medical providers. If you already know the number and you know that in this example, they're a medical provider, there's no need for you to load an agent that's meant to talk to a patient. So checking the phone number, you can give them a different agent. So maybe you have an agent that just deals with medical providers. Maybe you have an agent that only deals with returning patients. You know, an agent that only that deals with new patients. So you can make that dynamic, and that's very valuable right there. And yeah. Perfect. So here I'm just going to replace that. Metadata, I can just leave that for there. It doesn't really matter. And then I'm going to copy. Oops. Oh, what's the previous data? It's going to be this.
Luigi, while Alex is working on this, real quick, who is best to reach out for different type of use case questions? Is it Discord, or there's somebody on the Retell team?
I would definitely, excuse me, I would definitely use Discord.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm choking. Yeah, Discord is the best place because you will find the Retell team plus a wealth of knowledgeable people. Yeah, we can help you there for sure. Is there something in particular that you're looking for?
Yeah, I have a really interesting case. I have outbound agent with multiple scripts.
Okay.
Multiple use cases like industries, healthcare, automotive, let's say. And I have a single webhook, and I need to figure out how to have Retell figure out which, if I'm pulling in, let's say, a list of contacts for healthcare, I need to know that I'm reaching out to healthcare, and this is the script I need to hit.
Okay. And this is a perfect example of agent override. You can have multiple agents for that. And now that I pass this over, let's give this a call.
Hi, Alex. Is your phone number 13109800702?
There you go. So we successfully passed that data. And that's what we wanted to do. Now, instead of asking, hey, what's your phone number? You can just say, hey, is your phone number whatever, blah, 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 yes or no. So that kind of saves some of the time. And again, you can include more variables here. It doesn't have to be just a user phone. It could be name, it could be whatever. So hopefully that makes sense. Again, this did change from where it was before. So I actually have to update my workflows. So hopefully that makes sense.
Thank you, Alex.
Yeah, not a problem.
So the next person is Darren Emil.
Hi, good evening, gentlemen. Firstly, Alex and Luigi, thanks so much for putting together the workshop and all the hard work. Really appreciate it. Great workshop. I had a quick question about using Retell outside of the US and engaging with multiple languages. Oftentimes we have offices throughout the Gulf and as well as in Europe. I'd like to utilize it. I understand that a lot of times you're relying on other organizations like 11 Labs to develop, language bases. I noticed that Arabic, I guess I'll start with that, is not available. My other question, is that coming up soon or not? And then could we get a sample on how it might work with a second language? I see there's a plethora of languages there available in the dropdown with whether you, depending on which one you choose, I just like to see it, how does it work? And really Arabic, I'm just curious on, is there a timeline on that or not?
No, I asked Stevie. She said that DeepGram doesn't include it. So that's really the issue. So we really don't know that. I know it's a big one.
Yeah.
And then in terms of other languages, we, like I was saying before, happened to us today. We didn't
Oh,
even
Spanish.
prompt the agent, and the conversation just switched over in Spanish.
Right.
Now, this is not a test. This was a real live call. The person said, "Hey, I don't speak any English and speak Spanish," and the agent immediately said, also with empathy, said, "I'll try to do my best. Spanish is not really my first language." Like, it was just unbelievable, and we were just like,
Right.
"What?"
and we can try it just so you can hear, right? So
Yeah.
look, right now it's I haven't changed anything. It's in English still. So I'm gonna call it and I'm gonna speak Spanish.
Hi, Alex.
Hola, ¿hablas español?
Hola, Alex. ¿Cómo estás? Soy Mia de Retell Mortgage. Es un buen momento para hablar brevemente sobre tus necesidades hipotecarias.
Sí, está bien.
Oh, my apologies, Fabian. Thank you for correcting me. How are
I
you
don't know why
today?
it said Fabian, but you can see it's like broken Spanglish. But if we switch it to obviously Spanish, if I just put it in Spanish, and this prompt is written in English, right? So all I'm gonna do is on here, I'm just gonna add a little for the context that I speak in Spanish. I'm gonna save it. And that's all I did change, right? So just add the little part and I changed the language.
Hi, Alex.
Hola. Bueno.
Hola, Alex. ¿Cómo estás? Mi nombre es Mia. Soy especialista en hipotecas de Retail Mortgage. Estoy llamando porque recientemente mostraste interés en opciones de hipoteca a través de nuestro sitio web.
So you can like just in that little thing, you can kind of see how like her voice changed between like the one before. It was like all Spanglish, and it sounded like she didn't know how to speak. You know, like she was like a white girl talking Spanish, and now she sounds a little bit better. And we can do the same for other languages. The multilingual obviously will work better. I can just actually remove this, and if I call it again, this one should sound better because we're on the multi-language model. And we can also change this to multilingual here. Oh, it's actually already multilingual. So see how that works?
Hi, Alex.
Hey, how's it going?
Hi, Alex. I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. How about you?
Bien, estoy bien.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I must be misheard. I'm glad to hear you're doing well. My name is Mia, and I'm with Retell Mortgage.
¿Me puedes
You
hablar en
recently-
español? No te entiendo.
Claro que sí, Alex. Mi nombre es Mia y trabajo con Retell Mortgage. Notamos que recientemente hiciste una consulta de crédito en nuestro sitio web.
So you see her voice even sounds better on multilingual there. And the same thing for like literally any language. I don't know any other language, but and I don't know if Japanese would sound good, but we can even try Japanese. I don't know Japanese, so I don't even know how that would work.
Yeah, it's gonna get interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. We can try that. I don't even know how to say hi in Japanese, so I don't know.
もしもし、ではクライアントの皆さんでしょうか。私は1点モルゲージの宮と申します。先日、投資のウェブサイトで住宅ローンに関するお問い合わせをいただきましたので、お電話させていただきました。今、少しお時間よろしいでしょうか。
That was a lot of words.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, whatever you said, yes. Sure.
Yeah, whatever. But you saw like it changed it, and like the prompt is still written in English. So like all I did was just change the language, and then I just gave it this context. Just because if you don't give it this, what I noticed, and we can try another language, it won't actually talk in that language unless maybe you write it. But Luigi speaks Italian, so maybe he'll know.
Hi, is this the client name?
Pronto?
Hello? Are you there?
Probably can't hear me, Alex.
Hello?
Hello, is this your client name? I just want to make sure I've reached the right person.
Yeah, it's me. Talk to her in Italian, Luigi.
Yeah. Pronto, chi parla?
Oh, maybe there might be a mix-up. I was trying to reach Borsan client name regarding a recent inquiry
un
about
momento.
mortgage options.
Un momento, parlo solo italiano. Non capisco niente, può parlare italiano, per favore?
Ah, capisco. Purtroppo non parlo italiano fluentemente. Sto cercando di contattare Shrug My Name riguardo a un interesse recente per opzioni di mutuo. E lei?
Sì, sì.
You see, that was pretty good. I don't know Italian, but it sounded pretty good. And same thing with the Japanese. Actually, pretty surprised on the Japanese. Actually, that was kind of cool. And not much changed other than that, right? So we did the Italian and even the voice. I would argue that you can probably get even better voices for other languages. Here, I'm just using the American. It was just literally an American language, but you can obviously, if you're going to use a different language, you can just import it directly from 11 Labs. For example, here I have this custom voice. You could import a custom voice in something else. So hopefully that answered your question there, Darren. I think it was there.
Yeah, Alex, we have 2 more questions, and then I think we should wrap it up because otherwise, there's 4 people that left. They're going to be watching a 2.5 hour.
Yeah, and we might get some of this.
Yeah. So we have Sovon Shaikh. Are you here? Yeah. Oh, you're there.
Yeah, I am here. So thank you, Alex and Luigi, for having this amazing session. So I wanted to ask something. Let's say I am building this Retell AI for dental or medical clinic. So in that case, I know that Retell AI is HIPAA compliant.
Yes.
But is there any BAA, like business associate authority like that, they are asking for that thing? While you are applying for HIPAA compliance, they are asking for an agreement with Retell AI.
Yeah.
So how to get that?
We can definitely talk to EB. There shouldn't be a problem. Also, something to keep in mind, it's with HIPAA compliance, and we deal with this a lot because most of our clients are doctors, but it's not just the Retell AI. It's especially if you're using that connection, like if you're talking to a dental clinic, you're most likely going to be connecting to Dentrix or some sort of EHR. That connection, is that HIPAA compliant? Because I would argue that that's almost a bigger issue there.
So let's say I am using N8N and Retell AI.
N8N, is that self-hosted or is that through the cloud?
That I can make like both self-hosted and cloud.
Okay.
Like which one do you recommend?
Self-hosted. So if your compliance is an issue, you need to self-host N8N, and that's one of the reasons that I like N8N, because you can self-host it. DigitalOcean, you can self-host this in DigitalOcean.
Self-host in their server, on my client server, or on my server?
Oh yeah. You could do it in your client's server. Like you can do it in your client's office if you wanted to, right? But you could just set up an own server, like your own server. But the reason I'm saying is use DigitalOcean. This is what we use for HIPAA compliance, because DigitalOcean will sign up BEA and they're also HIPAA compliant. So you can just do it in here.
Okay, and let's say I'm getting BAA from DigitalOcean, and to get the BAA from Retell AI, like what I have to do?
I will reach out to EB regarding that, and I will get back to you. If you can just drop your email there. That's a question for EB, and I will make sure to pass that. But I wouldn't assume that that's not be a problem.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and then for DigitalOcean, again, here what you need to do is you need to make an account. It tells you what's like approved for HIPAA compliance and like the different products. So here you have all the different products. You could just use like a droplet to host it in there. That's what we use. With DigitalOcean, you need to keep in mind that you need to spend a certain amount before you qualify. Technically, it's HIPAA compliant, but before they sign a BA, you need to spend a certain amount. They're not going to sign a BA if you're spending $12 a month. So that's something for you to be mindful of. They'll sign the BA starting at $300 a month when you're spending $300 a month. So something to keep in mind.
Okay, great. And I had another request, like during the next session, can you show an example of the custom conversation flow of the medical like process that you are showing an example? So during
Yeah, I
our
can.
next meeting, can you show that, like how to do that step by step?
Yeah, we can certainly do another one. And that was going to be my other thing. If you guys have topics or things that you guys want to cover, here I'm covering GHL. Maybe you want to learn how to use Google Sheets with Retell. Just put it in the comments and we can do a workshop on that. So it's totally fine. If you guys want to go over the conversation of flow, we can do that. I'm going to have to go through that whole Airtable, something, whatever you guys want. You just let us know and we can record a tutorial. We can do a workshop on it.
That's a good idea. Yeah, if you guys
well-
write it down, I'll literally copy paste this so that
Yeah.
we'll
If
see
you
if
guys are
there is
all
a
using-
pattern.
So
If you guys
thank
all
you.
use
Table.
Yeah, Airtable, Google Sheets, whatever else you guys use, we can certainly do workshops. And then I can do a workshop on this. Like I said, for medical practices, I always go with the conversational flow because you have, again, you can see that I have, if I zoom out of this, much more control in the conversational flow versus a single agent, right? And you can see how big this one is. I still got to trim it down, but that's just because there's so much in a medical practice. Like maybe you have a medical issue. Okay, well, we need to see if it's an emergency and qualify for an emergency and things like that. So yeah,
Okay.
I can certainly go through it in a workshop or record some videos on it.
Cool. Thank you, man.
Alex, it seems like the multi-agent and conversational flow is kind of like the pattern. Airtable is definitely nice because it's something different, right, from GHL.
Well, we can combine them. We can do a conversational.
Right. That's
Using
what I'm
Airtable.
saying. Like we can just kill two birds with one stone. Yeah.
Yeah, so we can certainly do one. We can do the next workshop can be on conversational flows. And if you guys have a specific case and you want to drop it, like for a medical practice or whatever, drop it and we'll do it on that. So cool. Hopefully that.
Yeah, I think the medical also is very interesting because if you can do the medical, you can almost do anything else because it's usually the more complex one.
Yeah,
because there's a lot of components. So the last person that had the hand raised was Bisho. You want to unmute yourself and ask your question? Maybe he's not there. I mean, I can see him right there, but okay, I guess not. Well,
anyone else have any questions, concerns, anything else? Anything that wasn't clear? Feedback? Anything?
Hey, Alex, thank you so much for this. It was so helpful. Can we talk about the memory a little bit and how we can incorporate that?
Yeah, so for the memory, you were talking about you want to be able to reference anything that happens during that call or anything else that happens with that contact, right?
Yeah, like let's say the client goes and says, hey, I'm busy right now. Can you call me back in 3 days, as an example?
Okay. What systems are you using? Where's this? What's like, are you using like a CRM? Is this a Google Sheet? Where are you keeping track of this?
Yeah, so currently what's happening is it's on Google Sheets. And after the call is done, it'll go back on make.com and make will say that they did a pass and also write down some notes and the transcript. And then, but from there, I don't know how to reference it. But also I want to change from make.com back to N8N. So I'm in the process of doing that as well.
So you can reference it all sorts of ways, but essentially you need like a database or some place to store all this information. So the first part that you said, the first part, you mentioned, I believe you said like if the customer says, hey, can you call me back in 20 minutes or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
That's just going to be within the prompt because earlier when I called Luigi, that was supposed to be a transfer call. He didn't answer. So then the agent told us, hey, do you want me to call you back in 20 minutes? For that, all we would do is set up a function, and we would do a booking function. And I can show you what the booking function looks, but it's very, very simple. Let me see here. I think it's this one. No, that's not.
So Alex, this cal function is the integration between the Google Calendar and then the N8N as well, right?
Yeah, you could do it through Google Calendar. Yeah, you could use Google Calendar. You can use whatever calendar you like. But you're gonna create a custom function. And like, for example, here, this custom function, it's where we want to first check the availability, right? So if the person says, hey, call me back in an hour, well, I want to make sure that I can even call you back in an hour and that I'm not busy.
Right.
So we first check the availability. We want to make sure that we collect the time there, obviously when the person wants to book. And then if that time is available, then we want to go ahead and book that call there.
Okay.
Yeah. And we can go through booking appointments in the next workshop. The last workshop was on booking appointments. You can definitely reference that one, and I'll show you how to book the appointments.
Okay.
Alex,
and then the other one part of that is, again, you need to have some sort of centralized database where you're going to be sending everything. If it's going to be Google Sheets and all the information is going to be stored there for that particular person, then it can be referenced.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alex, real quick, someone was asking, AI Assist was asking, what if we want to have the agent like an orb widget on a website? Would use like LiveKit or something like that, or should we do like a custom code? How can we achieve that?
Yeah, that's going to be a LiveKit thing there.
Yeah, I posted the link in the chat for those who are interested in seeing what an orb is.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome, because I know that there are other platforms that they have their own built-in out-of-the-box web orbs, like widgets that we can sort of use by just putting the agent ID or whatnot. Is there anything in your sort of timelines to sort of build your own sort of widget for web integration?
I would check with the dev team on that. Unfortunately, I don't have like specifics on that. I know that is requested. And you know what? Maybe I'll have to do a tutorial on LiveKit, on how to use LiveKit and how to connect it in the meantime. So I will find out
awesome.
on EB. And if not, like I said, we might just have to do one using LiveKit. And if you guys are not familiar with LiveKit, it just allows you to build, just like applications like this, right? Like this is what you guys want. You want to be able to call it and like talk to it. But
be mindful of the minutes.
Yeah, but instead of calling this, right, like instead of this answer, we want Retell to answer, and then our agent to take action. So we can connect these two together. It's going to be a little bit techy, but I can certainly do a video on that and do maybe a workshop on it. And I will find out in the meantime. I will find out with the dev team in terms of kind of what the roadmap is looking to see if we can build something natively. But for the meantime, we do a live kit.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I had another question regarding, so is it easy to integrate N8N to Dentrix, or should I use something else?
I love N8N, so I'm going to be biased to N8N. I use N8N to currently integrate with other systems, with HIPAA systems. So I use it. I find it easy. Here I have one for Dr. Chrono. That's an EHR.
Can you show like how you're doing it?
For Dr. Chrono, it's a little bit different. It depends on it's going to depend on your system. For Dr. Chrono, we first need to get a refresh token. So we need to manage that refresh token. And that's what we do here. This is the first step where I'm creating that refresh token. I get that refresh token, and then I'm storing it, because in Dr. Chrono, every time you make a call, just as we were doing earlier with the API, you need to pass that key, right? But in Dr. Chrono, that key expires every like 24 to 48 hours. So we constantly need to be generating a new key. So that's different in Dr. Chrono. So that's what I'm doing here.
So, and why you are doing that? Why you are generating new API every 24 hours?
Because Dr. Chrono requires it. Dr. Chrono requires that. Every application is going to be different. GHL, because we're in GHL, when we use our private keys, you don't need to do that. But certain software, like Dr. Chrono, or maybe you're using Salesforce, or maybe you're going to use, I don't know, Service Titan or something else.
Let's say Dentrix.
Yeah, you see, so here, as part of connecting with this API, we need to do the OAuth flow here. And then we need to provide authorization, and then we need to do a token exchange. And then this token only lasts for 48 hours. So meaning when this token is generated, you can only communicate with the system for 48 hours. Then you have to create a new one. So again, this is a little more technical, but this is only for like Dr. Chrono and systems like that. Dentrix, you're gonna have to do that. I'm pretty sure Dentrix is OAuth. I feel like it is. But...
Okay.
Yeah, I don't even know where it's at, but yeah, definitely check that out. I think you're gonna have to do OAuth for Dentrix.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember where it's at. Yeah.
Alex, I just have one more question in regards to the medical field and all those agents that you created. Is the reason because of the different variables, or like for my mortgage business, how should I structure the agent that is designed to collect an application, as an example?
Well, for the medical, they're structuring to different agents because they're different people that are calling. I'm structuring the agent per, like, for example, some of the people that are going to be calling are going to be medical providers. That's a different like persona versus like a patient, right?
Okay.
They're different. So that's why I structure it that way, because a provider's not going to be like, oh, I need to make an appointment and here's my birthday, right? They're going to give us different information. Yeah.
Okay. I got you. So we should do a different agent if you want like a different persona type of thing.
Yeah, like maybe like, you know, technically you could have like an agent that can handle both refinance and new purchases. Maybe you want to have an agent just for new purchases. Maybe you want to have one just for refinance, right? Because that way it allows you to be more like specific to that user's scenario, right? Maybe you work with other lenders or other partnerships, so you want to have an agent for them. So that's how I would structure it.
Okay, amazing. Okay, perfect.
Cool. Any other questions, concerns, guys?
Yeah,
Anything
we have one last one, and then we'll wrap. It's Christopher.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you so much. Okay, so thank you a lot for the workshop. Learned a lot. I just had a question on scheduling. So in the example you gave, you said, okay, can you come back the next morning? Is there a way to create some kind of scheduler in N8N to trigger the make a phone call like at a particular time? Is that possible?
You could. So you just need to schedule onto a calendar. So I have one here for booking directly to GHL. So here, when the user says, you know, when we want to make an appointment, we check the appointment, then we search for that contact, and then we either, if the contact is in GHL or not in GHL, we either create a new contact and then book that appointment.
Okay.
This is just a function. So you can just create a function, but you can't do it. And these workflows are free, guys. They're already there. If you click on the Notion document, you can, if you click on the top here, this is the last workshop that we did. The workflows, the N8N workflows are all here. You just download them. It's all there. Along with the,
Yeah, I don't think I just give me a second, check that again. I just see templates coming soon.
No, yeah, that's for this workshop. But if you click on last week's workshop, if you just click on the top where it says Retell AI workshops.
Okay.
And you click on this one, inbound agent.
Yeah.
This inbound agent for booking appointments. But the appointments, you can use that at any time. It doesn't have to be in inbound. But what this is showing is how to book the appointments, just in general. So the workflows are here, which is literally these workflows that I'm sharing, that I'm showing you here. Oh, wait, this one. And I even included the video walkthrough. You can I include another video here, everything you need to change. So you guys, please download this. It's like free. It's right there for you guys.
I will. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
Alex, I would like to do something super cool because it looks like we still have 57 people here. Not sure if that's the correct number, but if you can stop sharing the screen, maybe everyone can turn on their camera and we can just wait with the camera. I'd like to take a screenshot. I think it was an awesome workshop, Alex. I think we can all agree it was awesome. I hope everyone had a great experience.
Yeah, sorry. Really quick before we do that, Luigi.
You lost the momentum now.
I didn't know because I would realize that I'm like talking about Notion and where they can get the workflows, but I wasn't even sharing I don't think you guys can actually see. So I want to make sure that you guys can see where to get those workflows really quick here.
Sure.
Because I don't think I was sharing that. Can you see the Notion document really quick? I can't see you.
I pasted the Oh yeah, I pasted that into the
Yep.
chat.
Perfect. Yeah, if you guys click on this, this is always going to have all the workshops. If you just click on the top Retell AI workshops, they're always going to be here in every single future one. The one we did last week, here's the video walking you through it, and then here's the workflows. When you download this, all you gotta do is click download. You'll download the workflow. You're gonna go back, whatever, so I'll save this. I already have it saved, so whatever, so I'll replace it. You're gonna go to your N8N installation. We're gonna click on new workflow, and then we're gonna click here on the little 3 dots, and then we're gonna import from file. And then I'm just simply gonna select whatever last file, this one that I downloaded. I'll click open, and there's the workflow. So that's all you guys gotta do, and they're all here. They will always be here. Same thing for today's that little workshop that workflow that I made, that will be here also. So just everything will always be here, guys. Just yeah, that was it.
Like if you can push a button, it's yours. Like that's really the call to action, right?
It's all there. So yeah.
All right. Well, again, it's 7:15 here in Florida. I don't know what time it is in where you are in the world, but yeah, thank you guys. I think it was great. Thank you so much for your attention, to your time, for being here. So I'll let me take a quick screenshot. If we can all just wave at the camera, just like that. Awesome. I love it. Love it. Okay. I think I got it.
I'm going to paste the Notion document there again. So you guys have it there. You should be able to click on that and have access to it. If for some reason you don't, it's public. So you should have access to it.
Awesome.
Cool.
All right. Well, we'll definitely look into the next, the next Friday call.
Yeah.
Sounds like it's going to be multi-agent, Alex, with the dynamic flow and everything.
Yeah. So next week we'll do a conversational flow agent there next week, and yeah. So, and if you guys have any other topics or anything else you guys want videos on, just please let me know, and we'll make those for you.
Cool. Thank you, everybody.
Awesome, guys. Thank you all for joining.
Guys, go enjoy your weekend. Okay. Bye.
Thanks,
Later,
guys. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Alex and Luigi.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, and thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Gracias, Alex.
Sí, de nada. Que tengan buen día.
Staying on longer than you should have done. Thank you very much indeed.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Ciao, Luigi.
Ciao. Ciao, Gabriel. Ciao.
Hey, Christian.